but I assume this is you in the picture here?
Yeah, it doesn't here, well.
All right.
Take that, there you go.
I'll do that. So yeah, it does make, it does make hearing a little bit harder. So can you tell me a little bit more about the Calf Scramble, how you got involved with it?
Our ag teacher said that there were going to be a calf scramble at the fair. And everybody said, what's a calf scramble? And he said, well, they're going to turn 10 calves loose on the racetrack. And if you catch it, you get to keep it and bring it back to the fair next year and maybe get a $500 scholarship. Well, back then, that was big. And so there's a few rules. You had to put in an application. There was a few rules. You have to have this halter on correctly, or you can't take him to the ring to prove that you caught him. You got to have that on correct. And so I got that all done and had the calf and fed him for a year and took him back, sold him at the fair for 25 cents a pound to, I believe, Albert Supermarket, which was down where the jail is now.
Oh, wow. So, 25 cents a pound.
And he weighed 1,010 pounds.
1,010 pounds. So, question about the logistics of it. So they just set you loose out there and you get them any way you can? I mean...
Yes. They're loose. And so you have to kind of get him any way you can to get that halter on him. That's the big problem when you're trying to catch him laying on the ground or whatever you're doing to get that halter on there correctly. Because you got the halter in your hand.
So are you kind of like lassoing them or tackling them or how?
I got my arm around his neck and worked this halter on him. Some kids are laying on the ground and the calves kicking, and it's quite a show.
I noticed you don't have any sort of protection or anything. I know
they didn't have that then.
Yeah, I've seen more recent pictures from the Calf Scramble, and everybody's got helmets on.
Right. Plus they wet the track down.
Yeah, and everybody's really muddy. So this is different. So was this the first year?
That was the first year. My understanding is Mr. Deere saw this somewhere, some other state, and he decided that we ought to have that here. And that's how that came about.
Where did the cows come from, do you know?
Yes, a local farmer, but I can't remember who that was. But it was here in the county.
And he was he had cows too, didn't he?
Yes.
Okay. So I wonder, yeah, so 54 was the first year, so it's a really long-standing tradition that we've had.
Right.
It amazes me. So you must have obviously had the means in your own to keep the cow for a year. So was you?
Well, we had a small barn.
Yeah.
I did not live on a farm, no.
No, okay. But you did have a barn to care for it.
Right.
So what was your involvement in the fair before that? Were you in 4-H?
Both 4-H and FFA.
And FFA. So did you have to show the cow the following year after you caught it?
Yes, you show him. He plays fourth in the class of 10. And like I say, we sold him then in the auction.
And that's the auction that's at the end of the fair?
Yes.
Yeah. I say my fair knowledge is not a whole lot. The first time I ever came to the fair was when we moved down here about 15 years ago. I'm from Summit County, and although we have a fair, apparently it was not a big enough deal that my parents ever took us to it, or it was not a part of a world they were a part of, so we didn't know about it or go to it really. And then when we moved down here, so my daughter goes to the STEM school now over at the old high school, and they are automatically made members of FFA.
Right.
So I realized that we will probably learn a lot more about this in the next few years as she goes through middle school and high school. But it's all new to me, the whole world. So it's been really interesting to learn more.
Now during the summer, Mr. Deere had a cottage down by Creek Park, where his farm was out on what's the name of that road?
Hazel?
But,
Hazel?
yeah, Yazel and what Foreman live on, it's the corner of, well, anyhow, come out of Yazel Road, and if you went, I guess it'd be west, back through there, there was a cottage back in there. And so he had all of us boys there for a chicken dinner, all you could eat, and they had these people all dressed in white, and big white hats on there. Well, I mean, you know, that was out of this world for us.
Was this afterwards then or before?
After we caught them during the
After you-
summer, before
yeah.
the fair.
So what happens to the ones that don't get caught? Is it
Oh, they
everybody
all
just-
get caught.
You just go until they're caught?
Oh,
And
yes.
that's still how it goes? It
Right.
just takes as long as it needs to take for
Right.
everybody to catch their
Right.
calf? Okay.
But see, back in those days, this is a Black Angus and Hereford, that was the two main breeds.
Okay,
And so now they've got crossbreds, and so they just call them calves now. 'Cause
okay. Did they differentiate for the scramble, like which ones were out there, or do they?
Yeah, those are all Angus out
They were all
that, the
Angus?
first year, and the next year they were all Herefords.
Okay. That's another thing that I've run across in the collection was an auction for Hereford cows or calves out there. Must have been after the fair, but it wasn't part of the fair that I've run across before. So that was another thing I had to look up the different breeds of cattle before, but I realized, oh, that's a name. Because Angus is probably the only one, or most people that aren't familiar with.
Well, yeah.
cows that would have heard of that one. That's
I
what
think
I've heard of.
anymore, if it's got a black hair on it, it's Angus.
Yeah.
That's how they sell the meat.
So, yeah. Well, the ones out at Young's are Jersey.
Yeah, those are dairy.
Oh, okay. Oh, these are,
These are beef breed. Those are dairy breed.
okay. Is that all that they show out at the fair then? Or meat, beef cows? Or,
Oh, I think they have open shows for others. I don't know. I don't get involved with that, so I really can't answer that.
Yeah,
This
so-
fair's altogether different now
yeah,
because of whatever, COVID for one thing.
well, yeah.
And there's not very few dairies in the county. I don't know if Young's is the only one here anymore or not.
I think they might be the only, and they're not even technically in the county, I don't think I think they're
Right.
technically green.
Right,
So yeah, I know that, and I only know them from, because I work in the archives, but, you know, I know Coles is one that we've got, and Ryder, I don't know if they were just processing, or if and Borden's were all here, but I don't know if there is anything.
They have a dairy feeder show.
yeah, they sell or show dairy feeders, which are young dairy steers, and they market them as veal. And so that's another class.
Okay.
Most of them would be Holsteins.
Okay. We'll have to look at, I know that in the picture with Mr. Deere, the portrait that his family recently donated, he's got cows behind him, and I don't know what they are.
Right.
But they're brown, so they're probably not Angus. So yeah, we'll have to see if we can find that out. But yeah, we've got a bunch of negatives from, I think, the 60s from Springfield News Sun, series of photos that they took of the Calf Scramble then.
Okay.
And we're looking to see if we have anything else. But this is a great. Great
How did
picture
you
here.
get selected to do it?
Well, but if I got that application, then they selected you if you were able to take care of that.
So you had to show them that you could, yeah,
Right.
that you weren't just gonna rope your calf and then
Right.
have nowhere to put it.
Right.
Park
Right.
it in your yard in downtown Springfield. I don't think that would have worked for everybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
So applicants were from every high school.
And probably 4-H. I really don't remember. I'm thinking there was 20 boys after 10 calves. I think that was their goal. Well, now they can't hardly find 20 boys
To do
because,
it, because you gotta take care of it.
yeah, nobody's got the facilities anymore.
Right.
And nobody's been around a farm for a couple generations at least, so they really don't know how to go about catching that calf. They're lucky if they could catch it, you know, because they really never had any experience at that.
Yeah. Well, I honestly, we did a program about the fair virtually where we shared pictures and stuff that we had from our archives, and that's where we had this Calf Scramble photo, and I said, I don't really know anything about this.
Sure.
And Ed Kranz, I don't know if you
Oh, yeah,
Ed
yeah.
knows everything. Ed was on the call, and he was like, oh, yeah, that was, Mr. Deere in the picture right there, and he's the one who started it. So
Yeah, but somebody must have told Roger that I was in that, because at the fair, he
said something.
something to me, and he wanted to know if I had a picture that
Well-
would say Bonded Oil Company, and I said, I think I do.
That is really a perfect
Yeah.
picture to tell the story of what we can, so that's really great.
Yeah, I helped Ed with his tractor show a couple years ago.
Oh,
at
did
the
you have a
fair.
tractor out there?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah? Sydney just finished a video about the tractors that were out there.
Oh, this year?
This year, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Those were toys.
Yeah, what did you have out there?
We had John Deere's.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How many do you have?
Old ones, 12 or 14, something
Really?
like that.
Man, I'm even talking to people out at the tractor tent. I was just amazed by what people have.
Mhm.
I talked to somebody yesterday whose dad does, well, he said detailing, and he says, well, not car detailing, he does detailing on farm equipment. Cleans them up after. And I said, I did not think about that as a thing
Yeah.
that needed to be done.
That's
But
not
yeah.
like a car, though. It's not quite as detailed.
Yeah. But we're gonna do our next, our end of September virtual program will be about farm equipment, actually. So, and farm equipment companies that were here. So we'll talk about the old big companies that were here at the turn of the century.
Sure.
and everything, and all the ones that merged together to become International Harvester
Mhm.
and all of that. But I figured we'd bring in some of our pictures of some of the farm equipment we have, and probably talk about the tractors and stuff like that. But maybe we'll be talking to you again. But yeah, that's one of the ones we have a lot of different things we can talk about. So we figured we'll put it out there, and people can correct us or point us in a new direction of
Sure.
things we need to look more into and stuff like that. Because I can't explain how to use any of the farm equipment that we have. Except for I look up, I Google it, and I find out the information and try and explain it to somebody else. Right now for the South Vienna Corn Festival, we have a corn harvester that we're gonna have in the parade. So I need to figure out how to explain corn harvester as it's driving by people, so they can understand how it works.
Are you talking
without-
about a stalk cutter?
Yeah, it's one that's kind of looks like a,
With the skids on it?
yeah, with a,
Yeah.
like a.
That
V.
cut the stalk off.
Yeah, so we're gonna, we had it in the Memorial Day parade, and we're trying to find a picture that kind of helped better illustrate to people how it cuts the grain
Right.
as you come up to, or how it cuts the corn as you come up to it, so,
Yeah, just slices it.
yeah.
Person standing there catching it.
Yeah, so, ours has a double seat on it.
Yeah.
So you could sit on either side, or someone could sit on either side as it goes. And,
Right.
So yeah,
Before my time.
Yeah, I say it's pretty early. We know it's a Whiteley, and so we know Whiteley was done by like the late 1880s, early 1890s. So we know it's very early.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, that was a piece we got last year. So yeah. It's all really interesting. So yeah, I think I don't know if you have anything else that you want to add. When we put this together, I'd like to share a copy of the video with you. We'll probably have it on our Facebook page, and we put them up on YouTube. So we're short little videos about local history topics. So this one will be about the Calf Scramble and Mr. Deere and probably a bit about bonded oil. We have an entire bonded oil collection for Mr. Quest. That's part of his collection sitting over there.
Yeah.
You will probably.
The only
learn some
filling
of that.
station you pull in, about 5 guys jumped on your car and checked
Yeah.
the oil, did the windshield,
They did
filled you up with
they did the
gas.
whole deal.
Yep.
See, I never experienced full service gas stations.
Mhm.
But we've got a whole box of every single station, a folder on every station that was here in town that came from Mr. Chris's stuff. So I think we've got pictures of a lot of the stations.
I think the headquarters out here on High Street,
The what was?
the first headquarters of Bonded Oil, I think was at High and,
Yellow Springs?
where
Yellow
that-
Springs, is it?
yeah, it might be where that food place is
Yeah,
now.
behind it. I think it's Yellow Springs, and that was
And-
where the first office was.
Yeah,
The
upstairs,
station was out.
yeah. And then I think they built a new one out off 68 then.
Okay.
What is in that woods there, I forget what they called it.
Oh, out on North Limestone
North Lime, yeah,
was where they built a new, different office.
yeah.
Like Roscommon area? Or,
Back this way toward town, a little
Okay.
bit.
okay.
I can see it, but I can't
As
picture.
you're heading toward like Urbana, it would be to your left on 68, and not far out of town
Okay. So like by Eagle City Road
before that.
before that?
Yeah.
But after, like between Roscommon and Eagle City?
No, I think it's back toward town a little
Further
bit.
back? Okay.
It's before you get to Miller Road.
Okay. Okay.
It goes off and it sat down, and I don't know if it was kind of wooded, if you could really see it all.
Is it that close? I was thinking, I can't picture where that's at right now. I know I've been by it several times, but
And this is the Bonded Oil headquarters?
it was.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're at. They're probably down in Enid now.
Yeah, I think that's Speedway. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one that they have a great big building off of.
But Mr. Kuss was big and bonded when they were out here.
Mhm.
And I can't,
Wasn't it about across from where that sweeper place was? Busnecker Sweeper or whatever, it was across from there.
I can't picture it right now.
Before Moorfield Road?
Moorfield.
I don't know, there's that Speedway.
This wasn't a station, this was just an office.
Office, big
Okay.
office
Well,
building.
I know is it Wilbur's Mustard is out there on 68?
Oh, you're
Is that
on-
too?
No, we're on.
You don't know where Wilbur's is because I told you it was out there and you said, well, I've never seen it. That's at the end of Moorfield Road when it
Yeah,
comes on to
right.
68.
Across from where the Speedway is.
And gosh, I can't picture where this is at.
Well, the apartments were all right here, the Coventry Apartments,
Then that funeral home.
not on that side of the street.
No,
Jackson Lytle's
it's over on the
here.
left. That's where the bonded oil place
Oh,
is.
Jackson Lytle?
I think
Okay.
it was before Jackson Lytle, or maybe it's past that.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
gotta be
remember.
past that.
So I know we've got the old Kroger, well, old Kroger now, head further, and then Jackson Lytle's up on the left,
It
okay.
might be just past that then, I don't remember exactly.
I can't picture it. That's amazing.
I can kind of picture
Well,
it.
I say we've got a box, I think, that has all the stations and probably their office information in there. I can see if we can find that information.
Well, they built that new. That was just strictly an office
Mm.
building.
But I think, I don't know, that's a big deal that I think a lot of people don't know about, that Bonded Oil is Speedway. And, Speedway is a
Mhm.
big deal gas station that's still around. I don't think a lot of people know the
Oh, yeah, that, you
connection.
sold that to that conglomerate or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah, Mr. Deere sold out the Speedway. Is that what it was, Speedway then, or was it something
No,
else?
that Marathon's been involved in that too.
Yeah,
and I
Marathon's a parent company,
Mm.
or they were. I think they might have separated here in the
mean, things change.
Yeah.
last year or so. I think they might have
It's
separated.
like trying to figure out bank history too. It's like the same as gas station history. It's all very complicated. So. But yeah, my only knowledge of Mr. Deere prior to this and the Calf Scramble was that I know that one of our wings is called the Deere. Our back expo hall is the Paul K. Deere
Right.
Hall. So I knew he must be somebody important.
Right.
I never knew what he did. I didn't realize that, because I knew who Mr. Chris was, and I had met him before. I didn't know that.
Paul
And-
Deere's your father-in-law.
Yeah, I hadn't realized that connection. So I just assume everybody's related and connected in town is the safest thing to do. So. Well, thanks for coming
Okay.
in and talking about this and with me.